So, it's Jennifer Postollec's turn now. She's an equine osteopath, an Algotherapist, member of International Association of Animal Therapists, biomechanics specialist, and Equitopia contributor. She will talk about the physical and emotional impact of hyperflexion on the horse. She came all the way from England, and she's also helping us with the translations. Thank you very much, Jennifer.
Good morning, everyone. So thank you for joining. Today, I'm going to talk about the physical and emotional impact of hyperflexion on the horse. Next, please. Thank you. So I'm very, very limited in time, so I'm going to talk a little bit of the anatomy, the consequences and the compensations on the central and peripheral nervous systems, and then I'm going to finish with the energetic and emotional side of the hyperflexion. Thank you. So by locking the head and hunger neck, we are also locking the respiratory system. So I wanted to show you these two pictures because hyperflexion can happen on ridden horses and unridden horses. So there is a training aid used on the left picture directly attached to the bit, which passes behind the elbow and goes over the wither. Next, please. Thank you. So I'm going to focus on this area because the next slide goes very much into details. So just wanted to make sure you understand. So I'm going to talk about the larynx. Next, please. Thank you. So it has been cut in half. So you've got the head on the left, on your left, the hyoid bone, because the larynx is hanged to the hyoid bone, and it's located between the pharynx and the trachea. You can see, let's try. The trachea here begins here. You've got the first cartilage ring, and the larynx is a cavity organ. It's made of 5 cartilages, and the epiglottis is one of them. So if this regulatory action is compromised by LDR hyperflexion, the horse will not be able to breathe properly. It's going to be increased with the training, excessive exercise, and you will easily recognize this discomfort when the horse is overflexed because it will make a roar noise, cornage laryngé in French. So it's very, very noticeable, and it should be a warning. You should, if you hear that, you should report this, obviously, and you also stop the exercise. If you hear that with your horse, it means he can't breathe properly. He's simply in apnea. So you can do, I did the test when I was preparing the presentation. You can put your chin to your chest and try to walk or jump or even sitting on your chair and breathe. I personally can't. Let me know how far you can go, but I personally can't. Following the larynx, we've got the trachea. So the trachea is responsible, is part of the respiratory tree with the bronchi. It's made of cartilaginous rings, and you can see it ends in the 2 lungs. It's pretty much flexible, but also very fragile. So it can follow the neck movement as long as it's not restricted by any movement. Sorry. It controls the airflow between the larynx and the bronchi. So this is essential to keep the horse with an open paw to allow him to breathe. Next, please. Thank you. So it's a very, very short presentation because lymphatic system is a huge topic, but I just wanted to focus on these nodes, lymph nodes on the head, because the lymphatic system has a role in the immune response. It will maintain the volume blood within the body. It will control the balance fluid in the body as well. There are between 6,000 and 1,600 nodes, and half of it belongs to the intestine. So you've got the first one, can't see properly, the parotid one, just under the TMJ, Following, you've got the lateral one, which is located at the path of the internal carotid, the vagus nerve, and the accessory nerve. And you've got the medial one, which has a role in regulating the temperature, and it will cool down the blood that reaches the skull. And then you've got the cranial deep cervical lymph nodes, and they will follow the duct to the chest and to join the huge lymphatic vein. Then I'm going to talk about the central and peripheral nervous system. So on the left, you've got the central nervous system, which runs from the pole to the tail. And on the right, you've got both. You've got the peripheral and the nervous systems. At the very top, there are the two optical nerves. There is the vagus nerve here. You can look how far back it goes. I'm going to expand in another slide. There is the huge brachial plexus as well. I'm going to talk about the radial nerve in the next slide as well. The spinal cord here, and the filum terminal, but I'm not going to talk about it. The consequences on an overstressed central nervous system. So if the horse is hyperflexed, it will create tension or overstimulation on the central nervous system, and the body will try to find a way to adapt, and it will find a way to keep going. It's a physiological response. So the vertebrae will interlock in a certain way. This is the analgesic position. And it's also the principle of tensegrity. So tensegrity is the forces distribution in the living system. And tensegrity will create the posture, and any changes in the posture will change the tensegrity. So on the left, you can see bone spurs due to overstimulated central nervous system. It's called osteophyte in French. I think the same word in English. Yeah, exactly. And over time, it can create a bridge where the vertebrae are fused. On the right, you've got a severe case of scoliosis, which will come with a rib rotation and saddle slip. Next, please. Thank you. So on the left, it's a stress fracture on a pelvis from a dressage horse. And on the right, this is an asymmetrical pole from a dressage horse as well. So these both horses showed behavioral problems, and they were retired from the competition. The left one at the top left, these are the kissing spines, right under the saddle. There is at the top right, there is a stress fracture on the thoracic vertebrae, and at the bottom, these are the 4 stages of disc protrusion. I'm going to show you there. It's not pretty much obvious here, but grade 3, grade 4, the center of the disc is here, and here as well. So it's a severe case. Next, please. I'm going to talk about now the peripheral nervous system, but I just wanted to, they are all important, obviously, but the vagus nerve is the most important one because it's motor, which means it's going to deliver movement, and it's also sensor. It can create dysfunction, including gastric issues, gastric ulcers, grinding teeth, tongue out, stomach acidity, and repetitive linking. Next, thank you. Next one is the huge nervous network, brachial plexus, which is responsible for musculature and cutaneous innervation of the entire leg. which I'm going to talk about the radial nerve because it's the biggest one, the most important one, but also the very fragile. It's 2 centimeter width, but it's very fragile because it can be damaged when the horse is in a surgery in the lateral position. It can also be impacted by a kick in a field, but also due to nerve compression, because neurological problem will affect gait abnormalities. So this radial nerve is going to drive all the movement of the extensors of the leg. So if there is a damage of this nerve, it's going to create lack of movement, gait abnormalities, weakness in legs, and also change in posture. Next, please. Thank you. The emotional part. So there are, if I remember properly, 5 meridians that originate from the head, but this one is interesting, the stomach meridian, because it goes all the way to the ventral myofascial chain. So it will have an impact on the locomotion if the horse has a stomach meridian unbalanced, let's say. So, thank you. So everything which is related to the mouth is related to the stomach, and everything, and the emotion associated is the anxiety. So if a horse, no, still not. Thank you. No. 7? Okay, cool down. So you shouldn't underestimate a horse that grinds his teeth, has his tongue out, or have a repetitive licking, because it's a cry for help from an unhappy horse. Thank you. And this topic, we don't really talk about this, but I find it really interesting. This is, you see, unless you're blind, who can say, apart from the rider, this attitude is correct? So the throat chakra is located at the throat. It's the 5th chakra of 7. And funnily enough, I like the symbolic and the metaphor. This chakra is related to the self-expression and being heard. So by preventing a horse to keeping his paw open, we do not allow him to express his fears and his feelings. Next, please. And I wanted to finish on a positive note. Not a perfect position, you would say, but we are aiming to a correct position with an open paw, no noseband, and having the horse lifting his neck, his sternum, his pectorals. So this is what we aim for. This is what we work on. This is my horse and me. And I wanted to finish on this quote, which sums up exactly what I wanted to express today. The fact to have a multitude of gadgets to control horses do not allow us to hear them anymore. We cannot listen to a horse while silencing him. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Jennifer. So you did very quickly. So you have 5 minutes left.
Okay.
4 minutes left. Okay. Yeah, she was so fast. So I think, there's somebody who is a vet. You will have a question from a vet here. Okay.
Hello, my name is Angela Schwarzer from Germany. I'm interested in the pictures that you showed with the oh my God, the English words, with all these pathologic bones that you showed, no, with the pathology signs. So do you know whether they are related to the training method, or were they just examples for what can happen to horses?
It was mainly due to coercive training. So it's not my screenshot, obviously, it's from Equitopia, and they dissected horses that they showed behavior problems, and they were retired from dressage, and they found out there were stress fractures, asymmetrical, temporal on the pole.
Yeah. I saw that. I was just interested whether it's known if these findings in pathologic findings are connected to the training method or not.
Well, yeah, training method, yeah, training aids as well. Yeah, exactly.
There are other questions? No? Yes? Sarah Escoubet.
I was just wondering if the stress fractures are actually like physical stress, or could it be like emotional stress as well that causes like bones to actually crack?
Could be both, mainly. But when you see, I mean, some liveries saying we are promoting young horses, I mean, all of these horses were very young. I mean, around the age of 7 and 10. So they start the training very early, and they try to push the horse too far, too young for competition. I mean, to be into competition far too young, like race horses. So to me, it's mainly due to physical impact.
Thank you.
Always.
Yeah, I just add something. I think that what we want to say is that there is no proof of these lesions on the photographs that it comes from a training. It's just a supposition. This is not a proof. Okay, I think
I wanted to say that. Yes.
Yeah, we can't really know. He could have fallen over and hurt himself like this. We can't say that these photos, that these lesions are directly related to. It's impossible to know. We can't. You know, that's why the question came, I think, because we can't be sure that these lesions are from riding methods. But I understand that you wanted to point out that this is possible, that it comes from riding methods.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's exactly what I wanted to point out, because there's a lot of research from the skeleton of the horse, and there's a lot of lesions that are not related to training, etc.
Thank you very much, Jennifer.